NFL teams had to cut their rosters down to 53 players. So coming up here on today's show, I have the 14 most surprising cuts, and I wouldn't be able to do today's show if it wasn't for our awesome sponsor, Magic Spoon. I want you guys to go on over to magicspoon.com/chat, where you can save $5 off the best healthy cereal on the market. And for whatever reason, that link's a little bit too hard to remember. Don't worry, I got you covered. Go down in the comments, go down in the description. We got the plug there. So the first player coming up here is Benardick McKinney, who the Miami Dolphins decided to move on from. Now, if you guys remember, we're going to hop back in a time machine. The Dolphins ended up trading a 4th-round pick, I believe, for McKinney, who had 37 tackles in only 4 games last season for the Houston Texans. I do find this to be a very peculiar move for the Miami Dolphins. However, maybe they know something that I don't, but I really did anticipate McKinney being a starting linebacker on this roster. Now, the fact that cuts have been made, we are one more day closer to the regular season of the National Football League. And I love the offseason. I love the draft. I love free agency. Don't get me wrong. But the regular season is where it's at. So if you guys are excited for the season, I know we're excited here at Chat Sports. It's going to be a hell of a ride. So hopefully you go ahead and like the video. Let's go to the next player coming up here. Wide receiver Breshad Perriman. Now, maybe it was just the offense he was in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he had a great year. Then he goes to the New York Jets, disaster. Then he ended up getting signed with the Detroit Lions, and it just has never worked out from him. The Detroit Lions decided to move on from Perriman, and once again, he's a free agent. Another wide receiver here, very, very surprising, Dez Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick was selected in the 4th round, 109 overall in the 2021 NFL Draft out of Louisville. The one thing that Tennessee was looking for was a little bit more size at that position, 6'1", 208. Potentially other players like Racey McMath could have really hurt Fitzpatrick. Another guy, even like Julio Jones, obviously when he was brought in, that made the wide receiver core a little bit more crowded. So for Fitzpatrick, definitely a player that I saw making the roster, but he was also one of the only players out of the wide receivers that didn't get any first-half snaps in that final preseason game. Let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders now. You got John Brown. When Brown was signed to the Raiders, I even was, quote, say that this could be your Nelson Aguilar type of replacement. Now, Brown asked the Raiders if he could be released, but that's because he was looking at the depth chart and was like, wow, shit, I'm like the 4th or 5th guy behind Zay Jones, behind Willie Snead, so I actually want to get on the field and I want to play. He asked to be released. The Raiders said, sure, we'll let you go. And all the Las Vegas Raiders have to do is eat $1.75 million. So what I want you guys to do right now, this is all about players that were cut, and it should literally surprise you. Which roster cut was by far the most surprising? I want you to go down in the comment section here on YouTube and let me know what you're thinking. Maybe there's a player that I missed. I mean, guess what? There's a lot of teams out there. We try to make it really just hone in on a few dudes. So if there's somebody that really surprised you, let me know down in the comments. One name that really surprised me was Everson Griffen, because the Minnesota Vikings, they go out and get him, then they end up letting him go. Now, there is a report out there that he could end up re-signing with the Vikings, at least in terms of the practice squad, which I do fully anticipate. But anytime you see a big-name player like Griffen get cut, it does still kind of shock you a little bit. Let's go to the 27-year-old Sheldon Day, and it wasn't his best day. 2 tackles last year, no sacks, but for Cleveland, they did a phenomenal job, I thought, this offseason, really being able to bolster that defense and also really being able to put together that defensive line. The fact that Day is getting released, though, does surprise me, because when you look at some of the other moves, like Richardson, the fact that they got rid of him, yes, you went out, you added Jadeveon Clowney. I didn't anticipate them keeping Tack McKinley, because he's been basically MIA for 2 years, but Sheldon Day was definitely a very surprising move. Something that's going to surprise you guys, if you get Magic Spoon and you look at the back of that cereal box and it says 13 grams of protein, no grams of sugar, only 4 net carbs, 140 calories, and then you take 1 bite of it, you're going to be like, what the hell is this stuff? How is this even good for you? And here's the best part. It is good for you. Remember all the cereal you ate as a kid? I'm talking about the Captain Crunches, the Fruity Pebbles, all that stuff. When you actually look at how bad that is for you, you're wondering, why would I ever give that to my kids? This is healthy cereal for adults. It's healthy cereal that everybody honestly deserves to at least try, because once you try it, I really wonder why you would ever go back to unhealthy cereal. So we're hooking you guys up here at Chat Sports with an awesome offer. It's magicspoon.com/chat. $5 off. All you got to do, again, is go down in the comments, go down in the description. If you're wondering, Mitch, What are some good flavors that you would go ahead and recommend? I love fruity. I love frosted. I just had the maple waffle one. That one's mind-blowingly good. Cookies and cream is really baller. Blueberry. I have yet to have one that I don't like, but the variety of 4-pack is probably where it's at. Let's go to the next player here on my surprise cut list. Doug Costin. So he was a starting lineman, or he was a starter last year, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The fact that he's no longer on this team, that does definitely surprise me. What about Peyton Barber? Does anybody else remember Peyton Barber? I remember Barber. He was one of those fun running backs on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few years ago where he was barely picking up any yards, but you know what? He still was able to find himself on a team. The reason why I have Barber on this list is because he does have some name value. 94 carries last year, only 4 touchdowns. Curious to see if anybody picks up the 27-year-old from Auburn. We are going to stick here, though, with the Washington football team, and I'm going to go with Jimmy Moreland. Moreland was a player out of James Madison, small school guy that I liked a lot coming out of the draft. 44 tackles last year, a pick, 1 pass breakup, and when I was looking for a reason, I was like, man, I can't believe Washington decided to let go of this guy. So apparently he suffered a knee bone bruise, and then he should be okay for week 1, but this could be somebody where you see Washington go ahead and try to add him on their practice squad. So again, guys, if you guys could go down in those comments, which roster cut surprised you the most, please let me know. I'm always just trying to see what you guys are thinking, because at the end of the day, that's what Chat Sports is about. It's not about some random guy wearing a purple shirt talking about sports. No, it's about the interaction that this show provides. Now, Cam Newton was released by the New England Patriots, and I actually made a video earlier today on Chat Sports. In fact, I think I was wearing the shirt, and I was breaking down some of the top places that Newton could end up going to. I ranked 5 teams. If you haven't seen that video yet, it's probably because you're not subscribed to Chat Sports. So here's another opportunity to take a second, maybe take 5 seconds. I'm sure some people watching, that's all it takes for you. You know what I'm talking about. Look underneath the video. Click that sub button, and then what I want you to do is turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss anything whatsoever. I'm not going to lie, I kind of look like this next dude coming up here with the purple shirt with the chin strap going on. Even though I think I look maybe a little bit better. Trace McSorley, no longer a member of the Baltimore Ravens. He's been battling some injuries. His inconsistent play as well, I think, really has led to that. I mean, look at that. Look at his completion percentage last year. 30%. I mean, we're talking about Jeremy Beadling's grades in high school bad. I mean, that's definitely not what you're looking for. Next player coming up here, Keke Coutee. I was going to try to think of a cute way to insert his name, but I'm not going to be able to do it. 33 grabs last year, 400 yards. When it really comes down to it, they have Brandon Cooks. You went out and traded for Anthony Miller. Sure, he's been battling some injuries here and there. But for Coutee, another player has tons of injury history, which is why he didn't quite make it. Now, the last player didn't quite get cut, but he was put on a reserve/retired list. And there was a rumor out there earlier today that Malcolm Butler has actually been contemplating retirement. He was let go by the Tennessee Titans. Then he ended up signing with the Arizona Cardinals. If he ends up retiring, and it sounds like he is going to, you're going to see a team like Arizona go out and start maybe picking around, looking for some other veteran cornerbacks to add, since that was probably their biggest weakness entering the offseason. Now, if y'all made it this far in the video, just know that I appreciate every single person that comes across our Chat Sports videos. We love doing what we do here, and we want to be able to continue to do it. If you have any questions about anything that you saw in today's show, you can always hit me up on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365.